Got an itch, son?
Well, you see, Father, there's been a murder, and this is the murder weapon.
And I surmise... Oh, my.
That hit the door.
And I surmise from your impeccable accent that it took place in Georgia.
Georgia. Yes.
That's pretty good.
Thanks.
That's really pretty good. You could have been in the Knives Out movie. You could have been, what's his name?
Benoit
Blanc Jr.
Oh.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah.
He's a good-looking guy. I'd love to play his son.
Yeah.
No. Okay.
We're taking turns on the cold openings. Like I was in charge of the last one, and so
And that's why this one was funnier.
So
Kidding.
we should have the cold opening awards and see
what the
which
best
ones
one
you
was
like
for each
better.
year. Yeah. People can vote. Welcome to episode 23.
23.
Yeah, crazy. We are covering, if you haven't noticed by the poster and our hilarious cold opening, that we're covering the third Knives Out movie, which is called Wake Up Dead Man, a Knives Out mystery. I'm going to take a sip of my drink as well. I love this little poster section here.
This is one of the movies that Riley suggests that I watch.
Yes, okay.
I did watch the last Knives Out mystery, and I have some comments, but
Did you watch the first one?
I was not aware that there was a first one.
Oh, yeah, there's 3. Yeah.
So was the first one not as popular? Or
no, it was really popular. It was just called Knives Out.
Okay.
I think. But I don't. There was probably a little subtitle.
What was the first one? Who was in it? Because I saw the one with Jamie Lee
people.
Curtis.
That's the first one.
And
is
that the one where
what's her name? Ana de Armas.
Is the first one was where they were in the big fancy house with the glass windows.
That's Glass Onion.
Okay, well then that's the one I must have seen.
Okay,
was Jamie Lee Curtis in?
She was in the first one. She was not in the second one, I think.
Okay.
Pretty sure. It's actually been a while since I've seen the first 2. But the good thing is...
Never mind, I've seen none of them.
These movies are written totally individually from each other. So
yeah, they're not continuing or anything.
No. Yeah, there's just like another little...
Daniel Craig's character is the only one that's...
Yeah, and he doesn't... And they didn't make no references to the first 2. So it's like, or at least if they did, I didn't catch any. But to go for our new viewers who haven't seen, for the rest of March... We're doing the same thing we did in February with just a little twist on it. Because in February, we watched his favorite movies that I'd never seen. And then during the rest of this month, we're going to watch some of my favorite movies that he's never seen. Yeah. So, but now we have both seen them. So, right. But we're watching. We watched Wake Up Dead Man and Knives Out Mystery. If it's your first time watching with us, and it's your first episode you've seen, spoiler, like we are going to talk about the plot. We're going to talk about the mystery and the ending and everything. So if you, I would highly recommend you watch this before, like don't spoil it for yourself. It's a really good movie. I'd recommend that you stop, go watch that, and then come back here and discuss it with us.
So you're suggesting that people watch our podcast just to see us, yet don't watch the movie before?
No, the complete opposite. Stop watching this.
No. You're suggesting that people actually watch our podcast without watching the movie is what you're suggesting. No. You're saying that you think some people might just watch the podcast.
Yeah, well, like if somebody stumbles upon our podcast for the first time.
I see.
Like if this is somebody's first time watching,
Well, we
never
could
know.
have fans out there that just want to watch us and they don't want to take the time to watch the movie.
That's okay too. I'm just saying that's okay. That's fine. But
I don't have much material. Sorry.
We're just letting you know. I'm letting you know that the movie will be spoiled. So if you don't want that to happen, don't watch this yet. Watch the movie first.
Good advice.
Anyway, yeah, ready? Okay, I'm gonna get into some film background.
Go for it.
Let's do it. So this was released. This is actually the most recent film that we've reviewed on this channel.
Yes.
We've never.
Which was not our original intention. We were going to do all classics.
Yeah, and then I diverged us, So, but we he hates it. No, I'm kidding. This was released in September of 2025, last year. At the time we're filming this in 2026. Written and directed by Rian Johnson. If you search his name, you need to spell it Rian. That's how he spells Ryan. Never seen it spelled that way. I don't know.
Probably not. That went on his birth certificate.
Like we said, third entry in this series. You know, but like we said, it's kind of like Sherlock Holmes, right? Like it doesn't. A lot of his stories don't really. Like it's not like sequential. You don't have to watch the next one, watch the one previous to get it. You can still get it if this is the only Knives Out movie you've watched.
I think it's inspired by some of the classic old whodunit mysteries. Although I feel like Rian Johnson is kind of changing the whole premise of these mysteries from whodunit to why did they do it. There's a lot more emphasis on that.
Yeah.
But you know these still have that whole air of Murder at the Rue Morgue or whatever. I think that's the title of it.
Yeah.
But, you know, just some of these old, really, like, musty old movies from way back when, you know, that books made into movies or just books.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it still has that air where sometimes you just need a real good mystery with some quirky characters, and that's what this is.
Well, that's what all these movies are.
Yeah.
And this movie was my favorite. I've heard a lot of people say that this is the best Knives Out movie that's been made so far. I don't think that's a controversial thing to say.
Yeah. Well, they're all so different, so
exactly. Like we said, the production team, Rian Johnson produced, directed, and wrote this. Like it's like created by him essentially. But it was also produced by Ram Bergman. Cinematography by Steve Yedlin, and the score was by Nathan Johnson. The cast is like huge, but I'm just gonna run off these names real quick. I just wrote them all down for this because it's such an ensemble movie for sure. But you got Daniel Craig, of course.
Yep.
The only returning character. He's the only returning one.
Yep.
You got Josh O'Connor, Glenn Close, Josh Brolin, Mila Kunis, Jeremy Renner, Kerry Washington, Andrew Scott, Kaylee Spaney, I think, Daryl McCormack, and Thomas Hayden Church, and others. I think that's just kind of the main core of the ensemble.
Mila Kunis, Daryl McCormack, Bridget Everett.
I didn't get Bridget Everett. See, I'm missing people. This is a huge.
She will come up in my notes later.
Nice. Okay. Cool. So this the release context for this, this premiered at the Toronto Film Festival. Before it was, and then it was released theatrically before the Netflix streaming.
Oh.
So even though it was made by Netflix, it was released theatrically first. And so far, at the time of this filming, the critic reviews are positive. It's got a 92-94 critic to audience percentage on Rotten Tomatoes. So, and like I said, many are saying this is the best Knives Out movie that's been made so far of the three that have been made. And I agree with that. But yeah, do you have any more background before I get into my little fun facts?
No, I have some fun facts of my own. I don't think I have. Yeah.
You start.
How dare I?
No, I think it's great. I'm rubbing off on you. That's what it is.
Well, I just wrote down, Josh O'Connor. His role. One of the fun facts. He actually played Prince Charles in the TV series The Crown.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, and I just thought it was a fun fact because it's such a. He's really flipping that royal persona, into this role. I'll talk about Glenn Close later. Love that woman.
Yeah, she's awesome.
My fun facts were more about acting, so why don't you just do yours and I'll just come back to it.
That's okay. Yeah. The title reference comes from a U2 song, Wake Up Dead Man. And Rian Johnson does it a lot. He does like pop culture nods a lot in his movies.
Scratching my nose. Sorry. Keep
that's
talking.
Okay. Disgusting. I'm pretty sure I talked about farts in one of the other episodes. I think we're okay.
But we've gotten past that.
Scandalous. The religious imagery shift is something new. It's obviously built around like overt religious symbolism.
Yeah. Surprising. That was surprising.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And Johnson himself described this as the darkest Benoit Blanc case. So,
and the last movie was super like light and airy and on the coast and all that.
Very like it was very like frantic and pizzazz. A lot of that stuff.
Right.
And this one's very dark and like moody for sure. But the ensemble cast. There was a lot of like secrecy with the script for this. Like the plot details were heavily guarded during production. So the cast members received like partial scripts before filming and stuff like that.
Leaked out.
So nothing leaked out. So they also didn't really know what was going to happen. So it was more genuine acting from they really didn't know, which is
interesting.
Cool.
Good idea.
Yeah, right. But like we said, in each Blanc mystery is written as a standalone. No continuity required between these films, so you're good to go. I don't know why I have that under fun facts. What's wrong with me? I'm losing my touch.
It's fun. It's still fun.
I'm losing my touch. Okay. And we usually from here we go into first impressions. And in this one, like last month, I kind of was like, here's my take for my first time seeing this. And then I asked you, why'd you pick this? So I want to ask you, what was like your first impressions of this, and then I want to go into like why I picked this.
Well, I go ahead and I totally get off script here, but I've noticed what just a tonal shift, I guess, from the last Glass Onion movie, Knives Out movie.
Yeah.
This one just feels heavier. It feels more Agatha Christie drawing room, lock the door and figure out which one of you is the murderer. It's just way more, and that's probably why people think it's the best one of the three. Because I think when you hear mystery, this is what people are looking for.
Totally.
Not that the other two weren't good.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't think I've seen both of the other two. I get the first two mixed up.
That's okay.
But just a lot more introspection I noticed at the beginning. And I also was kind of struck by the fact that, because, I saw the other one, and Daniel Craig is the main character, the only continuing character. Yet the first part of this movie, the first act, is very surprising because he's not at all dominant in the first few scenes. It's more about Josh O'Connor. Josh O'Connor starts right off carrying the emotional weight of the movie.
Yeah,
and
they don't waste any time getting to it.
Yeah,
it's pretty cool.
Yeah. So, but my first impressions were I just thought it was way different, stylish. Different. And very tongue in cheek. I mean, they all are tongue in cheek, but love Glenn Close, but this is not the time to talk about Glenn Close.
She was great in this one, but we'll get to that for sure. So I picked this one because
yes. Why did you pick this, son?
Yes.
I'm sorry, I was meant to ask.
It's okay, you're fine. Okay. And I know this list isn't supposed to be like, here's our top 4 movies. That's not it. Right. It's even though my favorite movie is probably in this list. I would say.
This is like us just having a conversation over dinner going, hey, we just saw this movie. You need to watch it. Have you watched it yet? And
it's kind of like, I really liked this and I want you to see it.
Oh, you haven't seen that yet? You've got to see it.
Exactly.
That's what we're doing.
That's the energy we're bringing. But yeah, I thought it was really relevant. I thought a lot of people really like this movie. I really liked this movie. A lot of people thought it had good stuff to say just about whatever, Yeah. But so anyway.
Okay.
Let's get into it. So first we could talk about some of the themes, which are just like, this story is rich with, all kinds of like symbolism and metaphor and things like that. I kind of just wanted to start from the beginning. Obviously, like we don't always go in sequential order when covering like story and theme and stuff. But I wanted to kind of talk about first that. So here, I wrote this down. I'll just read this. I got in this story, you've got an outsider, Judd the priest, who has entered into a small group of people, the church, and a small group of people with shared beliefs centered around one religious figure and his system of ideas. And the way this group operates is obviously representative of various religious, political, and societal groups and their framing of the outsider, particularly how an outsider, someone different from them, is framed. And the priest, being an outsider, must enter into this polarizing dynamic. And so basically, there's like this big us versus them dynamic. It's the whole movie. It's really like the core concept or theme of it. And with different groups of people representing themselves as us. Us versus them or whatever. So with that dynamic, what do you think about the character of Judd the priest? And how he navigates this dynamic, and what do you think the film's maybe trying to communicate through that? Just like your thoughts in general.
Gosh, that's hard.
I'm sorry. I tried to prepare you.
Yeah, you told me ahead of time. How does he handle how they're treating him? Is that what you? That's what
just like that dynamic of how they're very closed off. You know, it's a very, very like not sheltered, but just it's that polarizing dynamic of them out there, and then we have us, and we're okay, and they're centered around, you know, this one priest who they like really trust and like look after and you know look up to. But yeah, and so they don't take kindly to new people coming into that dynamic,
right?
And especially another priest,
right?
So what do you think of his character entering into that? What's the film trying to say about like through this character? Like what did you think about that? What were your thoughts?
Well, I mean, initially, you know, he comes in and he's almost immediately defeated by what's going on.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Very vulnerable, but within him is kind of a suppressed rage. I guess that's what Josh O'Connor brings across with the character anyway.
Yeah.
So the performance is really layered, like where he's so vulnerable at first. You're thinking. Well, it's sort of like, because he's a former boxer, which is part of his inner turmoil because he killed a man. So you almost feel like what he knows societal wise, or, you know, like his new ideas about how it should be, that whole dynamic is kind of like the coach on the sideline of the boxing match going, get back in there, which is eventually what he does, eventually he's like, nope, I'm the priest, I'm taking the bull by the horns, I'm doing this.
Yeah.
And that comes from his fighting spirit, I think. I don't know exactly what I'd say they were trying to say in the movie, although, you know, maybe there's got to be a fighting spirit with changing tradition, changing ideals, especially when it comes to religion. I find that it is so difficult right now in the world of church and religion, because we've got a whole different generation, and we have a generation that needs to step up, but we also have a generation before that are going, here's the baton, and then when the new generation grabs a hold of the baton, the old generation's going, oh, I'm not letting go.
Interesting. Okay.
You know?
Yeah.
So I think that maybe the movie is saying, young generation, if you want to change things, it's got to be based in truth. You've got to it's got to be the right thing. But if you want to change things and take over and further the ministry or whatever you're doing, you have got to step up and just, you know, show the older generation, I can be trusted with this. I'm going to carry on. You know, I don't know.
Interesting.
That's too much.
Hey, no, that's okay. No, yeah. I want to know like what you think.
Did that even make any sense?
No, yeah, how he navigates and what it represents. Yeah, that's your take. I like it. But yeah, I kind of like. It's interesting that you said like his fighting spirit, because it's like, I think it's in the beginning of the movie. He says, you know, he's talking about service, and he brings this up multiple times, but one of the priests on the council that he goes to, that when they're about to send him to, I forget all the town names and everything, but he says like, you have to protect your flock from the world, and he says, no, it's not this, it's this. And it's interesting because he does have a fighting spirit, but it's like the end result of that fighting spirit is not a punch, it's an embrace. Yeah. And so that's good. He doesn't, and he doesn't, he's not looking to fight, he's looking to serve people. He's not looking to fight people and bring them to justice. He's looking to serve people and bring them to redemption, I would say. And so I know it's really cool. I didn't even write that down. I just came up with it.
Wow.
But, so yeah, with that, I think, and I think, I know you talked about it just from like a church perspective, but I think it also has an even like broader societal perspective, because there's this kind of like tribalism and groupthink that has become so prevalent across, I would even say globally, like just with different cultures, different people in America specifically, you know, we got that going on. And I wanted to talk about, like, because this, And I'm not saying like if you're part of a group and you're thinking as part of a group that you're in a cult. I'm not saying that. But there's this idea of cult psychology where, and I think this group in this film is very cultish. I think, they only stick with themselves. Everyone else is an outsider that they need to fight against. I think that's very, cult-like.
Well, anytime you've got that much putting all your eggs in the basket of the leader, that's red flag for cult.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I wanted to talk a little bit about cult psychology and then how Judd kind of navigates that, because I think a lot of people think, when you see someone in a group that's like harmful, I'll use an example of even just like a kid. Maybe you have a kid and maybe they're in like with like a bad group of kids at school or something, and you're like, hey, maybe you shouldn't be hanging out with these guys. The reason it never works to go, hey,
you shouldn't be.
Shouldn't be. I'm gonna, ground you if you keep hanging out with these people. The reason that doesn't work is because in cult psychology, belief becomes fused with identity. So when it's literally 12 Angry Men, like we just talked about. When your beliefs are disagreed with or kind of pressed, your whole sense of being is at risk. Your sense of identity is at risk. Yeah. And so it's like debating, don't you see how wrong you are? It doesn't work. And, and I think Judd understands this.
Right.
I think that's kind of the point, because he understands that people don't leave high control groups from losing an argument. No one's ever left, their tight knit,
that's
you know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
But instead it's almost like I've heard the term from people, cult psychologists and things like that. They've used the term a glass shelf, where it's like all those little doubts that they have about their harmful group that they don't know is harmful, that they've based their identity around. Yeah. All the little doubts get stacked up on there.
Right.
And then eventually it shatters. But if you try to take a hammer or like something to break that shelf yourself,
right,
they run back to that group.
Okay.
Because they feel shamed or hurt.
Yeah.
And so what's actually helpful for people in these groups is offering space to them for them to doubt, or using curiosity instead of debate, normalizing doubt without weaponizing it, offering some kind of identity outside of your group, loving them for another reason. Don't rush the timeline of their growth. Accept that you can't change their outcome, that only they can. Stuff like that. And I think Judd really approaches it like that. He understands that you can't box these people out of their beliefs. You just have to be there and love them and care for them.
Yeah.
So with that, sorry, that was a long tangent.
No, that's good.
With that, I kind of looked at some interviews, and Rian Johnson talked about how this film's aim was to explore tribalism without finger wagging, and rather having to examine where he himself falls into tribal thinking.
Sure.
So I wanted to ask you, when you watch this film, how does this film make you question your own tribe and where you fall in that sense of tribalism?
Well, it's funny that you asked me that at this point in my life, because I'm at the point now where I am of Judd's mentality.
Okay.
But
explain that.
I wasn't always. I just, it's very difficult when you get to where you feel like you've mastered something. Living.
Yeah.
This is, you have mastered where you're at in life, and that's why black people don't like change. But if you have a pretty good program going, when I taught school, we got to where, we'd have a reading program that we have set up, and it's fine tuned, and it's we know our material, and you don't want any new outside coming in. And really, I mean, when you watch this movie, or if you have a lot of experience with the church is a metaphor for a divided society.
Whoa, interesting.
Don't you think?
Unpack
Don't you
that.
think? I think that Rian Johnson, with what you said from his interviews and thing, I think he's kind of arguing and saying, welcoming the outsiders, embracing the new, and not fighting harder to hang on to your side or of the story.
Yeah.
That's really the path forward. And I really do think I remain optimistic, but I really do think the older generation these days is starting to do that.
Okay.
In a lot of ways.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking about, we got to lower our moral expectations, or we've got to change the way we think about. We got to let all these new ideas, and they're not morally correct. I'm not saying that. I'm saying you got to be open to some new, more efficient ways of doing things. I mean, some of us people my age, we're kind of stuck in, because we're not aware of some of the new ways to do things, you know.
Yeah.
And really, the new generation, I just really sounding old, but where I grew up, this is probably really a tangent, but
I think you're sounding very wise.
Here we go. When I'll keep talking then. When I grew up, we were still of the generation where we liked to read a newspaper. But we're kind of on the edge a little bit, but your generation, do you guys like to read newspapers and magazines? Not really.
Yeah. Usually, if you do read newspaper magazines, it's like articles online.
Right. So you're reading from your phone, or you're reading on your computer. Eventually, I think that's going to evolve to information's going to come quickly in reels, videos, something like that.
Well, that's already happening.
Yeah, that's happening. I just think that the way we receive things is going to evolve, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. So that's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about the older generation embracing new meaning sinful or terrible moral choices. No. I'm talking about just the way society is evolving, about the way we get information, the way we share with one another, all that stuff. Yeah. Now, did I totally get off what you asked me before?
No, that was good. Yeah. I wanted to, it was.
But I just think that whole thing with church and society they go together. You know, really.
Yeah. Church is like a microcosm of society.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And we're talking from, just to be clear, we're talking from the perspective of we're both Christians in America. So no, that's not that controversial.
We will be canceled.
I think we're in the majority of Americans, but that's just our background. So that's what we notice in this movie. That's where it's talking to us. So we're going to talk about it.
Yeah.
Anyone is welcome. We're just a podcast where we talk about movies. We love that you're here. Do whatever, think whatever you want.
But we're not going to apologize for our beliefs.
There you go. Yeah, that's cool. And yeah. But I wanted to kind of go off of what you were saying about navigating that, Judd kind of showing us how to. That's interesting because you're kind of seeing it from the group's perspective almost then, of like embracing those new ideals. Sorry, I'm trying to think about where to go from here. What do you think the group does correctly, and then what do you think they do incorrectly when approaching Judd? I guess because if it's trying to show us how maybe because you're seeing it, because there's a million different ways to see this. You're kind of seeing it from older generation to younger generation. If you were to think about it like that, what do you think the group does that is right in the way they accept Judd, or what's wrong in the way they accept Judd? Is that even a good way to look at it? Or
well, do you think, I'll just ask you if you think this.
Yeah.
I think that they welcome him as if to say, here's the way we do things. We're going to help plug you in, right? Isn't that how they treat him?
Kind of. I think they're almost, I would disagree. I think they're a little get out of here. Because I think they're a little did I forgot his name. The Wicks. They're did Wicks call this meeting? I don't want to.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
Yeah,
but I think initially they're okay, well, this is the new guy.
Mm-hmm.
Here's how we do mass. Here's how we do this. Here's what. Sure. Now you do it that way.
Yes, they don't want him to give.
That's what I'm talking about.
I understand what you mean. Yeah, they don't really accept any input from him.
I think they're willing to help him to the degree of, you come along, we're going to show you exactly what to do the way we've always done it, and we're not going to really let you into the inner sanctum, but we know you're here for a purpose.
Yeah,
I don't know. There are limits to how far they'll go.
So that's interesting because I wanted to talk about how Judd responds to that specifically, because we already did, but to me it's this theme of grace coexisting with justice, in my opinion. Yeah. And because not to get too preachy here, but I'm literally going to talk about a parable from the Bible, so bear with me. But so, and how it's kind of been misinterpreted sometimes. Yeah. You've heard the phrase "go the extra mile," yeah, right? A lot of people think that, what do you think that means, right? It's like you do more than you're asked. You always put in extra effort and stuff like that. And I think that's kind of a misunderstanding, because that's a parable told from Jesus on the Sermon on the Mount, right? Mm-hmm. And I think it's kind of been misunderstood. And I want to kind of talk about it, because I think it's what it actually means is what Judd is actually doing, because that sermon is talking about back then when you're talking about Roman occupied Judea, and Roman soldiers could go up to anybody and any citizen and demand that that citizen carry their belongings for a mile. Okay. But the law prevented them from carrying it any further.
Yeah, I've heard this. Okay.
And so Jesus is saying, carry it an extra mile. The reason for that is this idea of, Jesus is not saying lie down on your back and just do more than you have to. Mm-hmm. What he's saying is, here's how you relate to your oppressors. Here's how you relate to people who aren't accepting you, who aren't treating you like a person. You show them love and grace in a way that forces them to treat you justly.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing. If a citizen carries it 1 mile, then they're just like beneath the Roman soldier. But if they carry it an extra mile, they become on equal standing with the Roman soldier, saying, well, now I'm going to treat you like my friend, even though you treated me like dirt. Mm-hmm. And because I'm choosing to treat you like my friend, I'm forcing you to treat me like the human that I am. And I'm reclaiming my identity and purpose and value in that.
Yeah.
But it's through generosity and grace instead of fighting. And so I think Judd exemplifies this perfectly, because he comes into that space where they're treating him like an outsider. Mm-hmm. They're not treating him like the priest said he is.
Right.
And he says, no, I am a priest. But he does that by trying to sit with them and talk with them, to understand them.
Right.
He gives them space to talk.
Yeah, and he's pretty loving from the get-go, really.
Yeah, and he has these lines where he says, like, God didn't try to fix me. He loves me when I'm guilty.
Yeah.
And he tries to show that same compassion to these people.
Yeah.
And I think, if you want to talk about Glenn Close a little bit, I think that idea is like found at the end of this movie.
Yeah.
With her name's Martha and Grace, the harlot, who we find out is not really a harlot, mm-hmm. She was just presumed to be. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry, I'm talking so much. Do you have anything to say about that? The grace coexisting with justice?
Well, I think what struck me when you were talking was, so you're saying really that Judd approaches all of this negativity that's going on spiritually. Yeah. He really approached the mystery itself spiritually as well.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
And then Blanc comes along, and he approaches it, of course, like an investigator would, analytically.
Yeah. And
then you have this, it's sort of a surprising camaraderie between Judd and Blanc.
Yeah.
That you don't expect.
Yeah.
And they have, this bond, sort of this chemistry together.
Yeah.
It doesn't, you would think that he would come into this Blanc would come in and the way he approaches the mystery would pit him against everybody else, including Judd, which it does not.
Yeah.
So the film really suggests that you can you need to have the spiritual outlook. You need to approach it spiritually, but you also need to approach it analytically, which really, if you think about it, would solve a lot of problems in the church.
Yeah, sure.
If you say, I'm going to analyze this, but I'm going to do it in a spiritual fashion.
Yeah.
Society too.
That's
really.
great. Yeah. No.
So.
Yeah, I like that. But yeah, and talking about analyzing it in a spiritual fashion, the ending when Martha's spilling the beans about the whole thing and how she's behind everything.
The whole thing. Yeah.
Right. She like is pleading and is having a lot of trouble getting this out, and he doesn't say, "You're horrible for doing this. You should go to jail." He says, "I understand," and he says stuff like, "You're safe." He gives her space.
Yeah.
To open up and to explore those uneasy,
super unexpected, touching moment in the movie.
I cried like
which you would not expect.
I watched this 3 times and I cried every time. So that's the thing, when he gives her that when he is faced with all of this cruelty and everything, he responds with compassion and grace. And then what happens is she's asking for forgiveness for all these things. And what does he do? He demands that she asks forgiveness for grace as well. Mm-hmm. And then what that does is it, like, I'm not going to cry again, but what it does is it like makes her, it cuts all that grace cuts right through like 40, 50, 60 years of hatred and everything that defined her worldview for that whole time. Yep. And his uncompromising grace cuts right through that. And she goes, I see now that poor woman. Yeah. And it leads to justice for grace, because now she's been, not only has Martha been redeemed in her understanding of how that whole situation worked, is now grace has actually received what is deserved to her. You know, posthumously. Right. But it's not perfect, of course. No. But I think that's, if I were to just wrap this whole thing up, I think that's actually the whole point, because like for whenever we look in at our own tribalism that's happening, in America and whatever you want to put it, in church or wherever, for whoever we've defined as them, it is so much easier to keep them at a moral distance from us. Definitely. And to think of them really as a group rather than an individual, rather than people. Yeah. And I think this film is urging us to include all human beings in us, and to show compassion and grace toward everyone, especially when they don't deserve it. Yeah. And because when you do that, it actually fixes things, and it actually brings redemption. It actually brings about justice. And so, and that to me is the whole point. Yep. So,
and you're still talking about the spiritual and the analytical together.
Yeah. Really. Of course. Yeah. Because when like, I think a lot of people would see the spiritual as something that's just like, he would have just been like, yeah, that's great. All that stuff. But like he analyzes everything she's talking about, and he demands that she asks forgiveness for grace as well. But he demands it in a loving way, but he's uncompromising. He carries the extra mile. He says, no, you will treat Grace like a human being, and you will ask for forgiveness from her. And then he does. And then when she does, he actually gives, does the, I'm not Catholic, but he does the pardon of sins. He forgives her for sins. But anyway, I have a lot to say about this movie, guys. I'm so sorry.
Sure. Well, and that's kind of what I was saying too before. Yeah. The puzzle matters, the analytical matters, solving the crime matters, and the whodunit. But the why done it brings the spiritual, emotional motivation in.
Totally.
And shows you that also matters very much. There needs to be a marriage between the two.
And I think Rian Johnson does that perfectly. Yeah. That's a great thing. That's a great thing to point out.
Right.
Yeah. Very cool. So, do you have anything else you'd like to talk about from like story or theme perspective?
Nope, I don't think so.
Cool. All right. Well, let's get on to the cast, the acting, the movie making. Yeah. I have to let people know that in our notes, we have like little sections of the script that we fill out separately, and I put acting with an exclamation point. So it's like acting. It's very, yeah. I don't even know what that's from.
I told you a couple podcasts.
Are you serious?
Yeah. John Lovitz on Saturday Night Live used to play.
I remember this.
Anyway,
acting. Gosh, man.
It's okay. I'll tell you again in a couple podcasts, and then
that's great.
I think I meant. You want me to go ahead and talk about acting?
Yeah.
I think I mentioned that I was really struck by the unexpected buddy dynamic between Daniel Craig and Josh O'Connor. Their characters
had great chemistry.
Yeah,
it was really good.
Not expected at all. It worked beautifully. They really played up that those two characters had their ideological differences, and they created just the right amount of tension. But then they had such mutual respect for each other, their characters, and it just their relationship was just built, Well,
and even they focus on the ideological similarities between the two.
I mean, there were similarities too.
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah.
But Josh O'Connor does such a great job. He being the emotional center of the movie and balancing all that vulnerability with, like I said, suppressed rage. And I think that the way he is conducting his life now is a little bit so that he can be redeemed from the boxing where he killed the guy with the boxing.
Yeah.
Very layered performance from Josh O'Connor.
Absolutely.
And as I said, he played Prince Charles in The Crown, so
it
was really cool to see him play this
kind of like lowly priest.
Conflicted physical, whole thing.
It was great.
Daniel Craig as Benoit, he was pretty restrained here. He plays up that observer, bridge builder character really well.
Well, and I think this is another thing too, but like this is really dumb, but the stereotype of like people who talk with a Southern accent are like more stupid or like they're dumb,
not very smart.
Which is incorrect.
Yeah,
of course.
Yeah.
But I think the characters he kind of plays off that.
Yeah.
He kind of appears like, oh, I don't know. Oh, I'm just a Southern man, he's silly.
Going to have my mint julep while I listen to y'all talk about.
But it's like he's kind of sneaky with how intelligent he is.
Oh, yeah.
It's really good.
Yeah, and I think that Daniel Craig does a good job because he could easily be so eccentric that he steals a scene every time. But again, I mean, he's not the emotional center. Well, he wouldn't be anyway. But like the movie he is not even around for the first little bit of it anyway. So it's good. I just think this is definitely an ensemble piece. They all play their part. They all help each other.
Yeah.
I like Josh Brolin. He was kind of a teen idol sort of actor, and so it's funny to see him.
I didn't know that. Really?
Oh yeah, kinda. I mean,
That's funny.
in his movie roles.
Okay.
But
I just know him as Thanos.
Oh yeah,
in Marvel.
Yeah.
That's really bad.
Yeah, but Josh Brolin comes off as he's his character of Wicks is intimidating, but he's not a caricature. He's just an intimidating presence, and it's not campy or anything.
Right.
And then he and Josh O'Connor play off each other really well because that whole booming authority of Wicks contrasts really nicely with O'Connor's quiet, humility, all that. Okay, Glenn Close. I love Glenn Close.
Yeah.
Glenn Close.
She's awesome. Yeah.
I've always liked Glenn Close. I mean, she's been nominated for Oscar 8 times. She should have won for The Wife. I think that's what it was.
The Wife? That's what the movie's called?
The Wife, yeah.
The Wife, okay.
And I forget who won that year, but she's fun. I think Olivia Colman won that year, but I love Olivia Colman too. But Glenn Close, fantastic. Her role could have been easily a one-note role, but she's steely, she's judgmental, boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
But it's not one note. It's still deep.
Yeah.
She adds all that gravitas, is that how you say it, gravitas?
Yeah.
Where it's like,
gravitas,
very subtle emotional shifts, very restrained. which I think is why that ending scene with her is emotional.
Yeah.
We've invested in her, even though, you know, I don't know.
Well, her performance is one of like holding back the whole
Right,
time.
right.
And she finally lets it go.
Yeah, and a
and
lot of people relate
feel
to
like,
that.
Yeah, of course.
Certain generations of people relate to not letting your emotions out. So,
of course, yeah.
Yeah. Then you got Dr. Nat, you know, Jeremy Renner.
Yep.
He adds a lot of tragic depth to the movie.
Mm-hmm.
With all his portraying the grief and resentment, and you know, it's understated but super effective.
Yeah.
Let's see, who else did I mention? Andrew Scott. Andrew Scott was in a show called Fleabag. Did you ever see that?
No, but I've heard people say it's awesome.
Well, he played the hot priest, and I've only seen a couple episodes of it.
That's funny.
So it's funny to see him here.
Yeah.
He's adding kind of a meta layer to his appearance in this.
Can I say
industry.
the first thing I ever saw of him? I didn't watch the whole play, but I saw his "To Be or Not to Be" monologue.
Okay.
As Hamlet.
Yeah.
And it was the coolest "To Be or Not to Be" monologue I've ever
I'd like
seen.
to see that.
It was very good. Yeah, it's only like look it up. Andrew Scott,
Yeah.
"To Be or Not to Be." It's very good.
Yeah. Kaylee Spaney, I think is how you say her name.
I think that's right.
Her breakout role was in Priscilla, which I'm not sure if that's a movie or a TV show.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, I just made that note. I looked up something, but she, I just felt like she's very emotionally vulnerable in this. Of course, I know about Kerry Washington from everybody watching Scandal. I only saw a couple, but it was the political drama.
It's a film. It's a film.
Priscilla was.
Yeah, it's about.
I figured
Elvis.
it was.
Elvis and Priscilla.
Oh.
Yeah.
Duh. Okay, sorry about that.
We obviously didn't watch it.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah.
We don't know every movie. It's all right.
Right. I've always loved Thomas Hayden Church. He started out on a TV show called Wings way back when. I want to say late 80s, early 90s.
Yeah.
He's just always been kind of this quirky off to the side, and he was good. And it was hilarious to me that he and Glenn Close were kind of when he popped her on the butt, I thought I was going to fall over. It was great.
No, they were cute.
Yeah.
Together.
Yeah.
Can I tell you? This is just a generational thing that I think is funny. The first thing I ever saw Thomas Hayden Church in was the early 2000s Spider-Man movies. He plays the Sandman.
Oh yeah. He's the villain in that, isn't he?
Yeah, but he's like the conflicted villain that you kind of feel sorry for. So I that's all. Whenever I see him, I'm like, it's the Sandman.
Yeah,
so
right.
I always see that.
Yeah, but I mean the casting was fantastic in this movie. I think
good.
I've talked about everybody, but
yeah.
So,
okay, cool.
Are we going on to scene stealing?
Yeah. What was your scene stealer?
Because I keep talking. I'm totally dominating.
Are you kidding me? I dominated earlier. It's okay.
I love Bridget Everett. I think she's hysterical.
Yeah.
I think she's definitely one of those actresses that messes with your emotions a lot. She had very limited screen time, but that phone call between her,
fantastic.
That was such a grounded, emotional truth that just cut right through all the tension of the movie, and it was just a scene. I wanted to see more of her.
Yeah,
but that was good.
She did awesome.
Really good
for such a limited role. She did so good.
Yeah, and I would say otherwise, Glenn Close and Thomas Hayden Church, I wanted to see them, but everybody's quirky enough and fun enough, and also deep enough that you want to. I mean,
it's like you said, like all of these characters could so easily just be these one-dimensional.
Yeah, one note.
And they're all such good actors that they like bring such depth to each role. It's very cool.
I agree. I agree.
My scene stealer was that scene.
Really?
I wrote that down when Judd is talking to her on the phone. But
we have become one.
Well, we have. But I just liked how. I mean, it's just what I always think of the scene stealer as what do I think about when I walk away from this movie, and it's like they're all caught up, and I don't know if you noticed some of the cinematography in this movie, but sir, I'm going to talk about an earlier example, and then I'll talk about this one. Earlier in the movie, when Benoit and Judd first meet, they start talking, and he says,
hiccup, sorry,
it's okay. He says something like, Judd asks Benoit, like, what do you think about God or whatever, or anything. He starts talking about like how God is just like a crutch or a farce for people, just like a very typical response to like religious institutions and things like that, which is somewhat valid. But like, you notice that the church gets darker when he talks like that, and then Judd,
I didn't notice.
Judd comes in, and immediately when he starts talking about like the beauty of the story and how we love story and God is in that story and things like that, then the church gets brighter.
I didn't notice.
Very cool. And the same thing happens when they're breaking open that thing, and Benoit breaks the little like Jesus that was in the thing.
Oh yeah,
right,
yeah,
to
yeah.
kind of see if there's something in it. Everything gets darker, and then he calls her on the phone. There's all this frantic, and she goes, Can you pray for me?" And he just stops, and you see him look over at the broken Jesus on the counter, and he goes, "Yeah," and leaves.
Yeah.
And then you have the sense that he's talking to her for a long time.
Yeah.
And he's like, "This is what I'm here for." It's very cool. I don't know. That was awesome.
No, she that was such an important scene,
Yeah.
and she nailed it.
She killed it.
She nailed it.
Yep.
It was good. That's funny that we had the same scene still.
I know. Well, I want to see if we have the same casting swap. I couldn't pick anybody.
We won't. Gregory Peck. No.
He comes in and he goes, "I think it was a mockingbird." No.
People, I doubt any of you think that's funny.
Do you have any mockingbirds in this church? No. That's so stupid. I didn't pick anybody.
Really?
I love this ensemble.
Second time I've said, really?
Yeah. I just can't. I can't mess this up. I think,
yeah.
And I feel bad because I always try and rack my brain for anybody. Maybe you could have, somebody else. I literally can't think of anything.
Yeah.
So everyone was so perfect for that part.
I love Ray Fiennes, and I thought he could be Wicks.
Ralph Fiennes. Wait.
How do you say his name?
Ray Fiennes.
Rafe Fiennes. I'm pretty sure that's how you say his name.
Have I always been seeing Ralph? It's Ralph. He has an L in there.
I don't think that's how you pronounce it, though.
This guy?
Yeah. I think it's Rafe Fiennes.
Oh, all right. I'll take your word for it. I don't know. So
and everybody out there's going, "You are wrong." And anyway, it's how I've always said it. There are a lot of words in my life that I've said wrong all along.
I think everybody does that.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Anyway, if I will correct it in next podcast if I didn't say it right.
Yeah, we'll look at it.
But anyway, I like so much about him with his performances and things, and I don't know why he came to mind. Somehow, when I thought of him, he just looks like he fits in that ensemble.
Yeah. Do you think who would he play? Do you think
Wicks?
Oh yeah, so he I feel like he would bring less of like a fury and more of like this like
ice.
Icy
control.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And then Andrew Garfield. And I think I mentioned Andrew Garfield about as much as I do Gregory Peck, but I'd like to see him play Judd.
I mentioned him for Psycho. Yeah, Judd. Yeah, I think he'd be. Andrew Garfield's played a priest before in movies, I think.
Yeah,
possibly.
Yeah,
I don't know.
And I think he would be more fragile. I think Andrew Garfield would show more fragility at first, and then so the breaking out into "No, I'm going to be the priest" would be even more.
That'd be cool,
like that, But I'm going to say Josh O'Connor. If I picked between him and Andrew Garfield, I'd pick Josh O'Connor.
Yeah, he was.
The cast was fantastic.
Phenomenal.
So this movie's probably going to be, it's a modern day classic, really.
Yeah,
it's
I
just
think
so well done.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just showing me that, some people who are snooty about movies, they don't make movies like they used to. Yeah, they do. I mean, we have movies with gifted filmmakers, directors, people who know how to cast, gifted actors and actresses, and this is a good one. So.
Yeah, great.
Yeah.
Double feature. You got any?
Double feature.
Got a good little pairing with this movie.
Why don't you do yours first?
Okay. So I don't want to accidentally take yours, but I did either of the other two Knives Out movies. Obviously, if you want to compare, or I thought this would be interesting on the waterfront. Because you have the priest dynamic there who kind of enters in, but he does it a little differently.
I never thought about that.
His is a little I forget his name in On the Waterfront, but his priest is a little more fighting. It's different philosophies probably to it, like approaching those problems. So it'd be interesting to compare and see like what you think about those. So I thought that even though the priest isn't the main character like he kind of is in this one, I mean I think he kind of is, but like on the waterfront, the priest still gets a lot of screen time. He's still a really important character. True. I wanted to see, like, I thought it'd be cool to watch those back to back and compare the different like ideologies between the two priests and how they approach like problems in their community. You know? So yeah.
My first initial reaction for a double feature was I would like a triple feature, and I would like to watch all three Knives Out again, or the other two, and compare how Blanc has evolved.
Oh,
he has. I don't know. I kind of think he has from my memory.
Yeah.
But there's a movie called The Name of the Rose, 1986, and it's got a lot of that faith mystery collision in there.
Okay.
There's a movie called Spotlight, 2015.
I think I've heard of that one.
But there's institutional. I'm not going to go on and on about it. Just look it up. But institutional power examined through investigation, I guess.
Nice.
Is what he said. So
very cool. Sweet.
Yep.
All right. Final takeaways. I think this was a movie that deals with very heavy themes, and it's very relevant, but it's also really fun to watch. You know, it's like a fun movie that's also really moving. You know, and
I think so.
I think that's a hard combination to make.
Yeah,
really.
Yeah.
You just have all around great writing, great performances, great cinematography, all the works. Awesome movie. So
I think it's the most mature entry in the franchise of the three.
Nice. Yeah.
Now I'm going to say that because I don't remember which one I saw, the first one or the second one.
That's really funny.
But the other two, I mean, this is a lot of playful flamboyance and, you know, that kind of glitzy, and
it's a little more like whodunit.
Yeah, this is more of a mature, older vibe.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, it just has more thematic depth, I think. Emotional, of course, resonance that we talked about.
Yeah.
Than the other. The other one's just like a feel good. People are all dressed up and they're living in the mansion and stuff and all that. So, but I've got to go back and figure out which one I haven't watched.
Okay. It's okay.
So
it's all right.
We're just normal movie watchers, folks. We're not experts.
Yeah, that's okay. So. Yeah, cool. Well, I mean, I think that's it. Like
that's all. We made it through.
Yeah. Huh? Thank you guys for watching.
Yeah, thanks guys.
We are going to continue this little exploration of some of my favorite movies.
Are we doing ratings
that he hasn't seen?
Yeah.
Oh wow, we didn't do that last episode. Yeah. Whoops.
Yeah.
What do you rate this?
I rate this 9.5.
9.5.
Yeah.
I can't. I'm gonna say this for all of these movies this month. I can't honestly rate them because these are movies that are really close to my heart, and I would think they're all 10 out of 10. Yeah. So I can't really. I just want to know what you think.
Yeah.
As someone who's like not really seen them before. Yeah. So
9.5, nearly perfect. But
yeah, I would agree. Cool.
It's just I don't know. Maybe there's a little bit of convoluted parts of it that take the 0.5 off for me. But
that's okay.
It's the convoluted parts work.
That's all right. Totally. Thank you. But thank you guys for watching. Next week we're gonna watch Whiplash, 2014. That's a movie that like I'll say it next episode again probably, but that was like the first like gritty drama that I ever watched because I was like 16 when it came out.
Yeah.
So I don't know, it was pretty cool to me. So it's close to my heart
because he's a drummer.
Well, and a lot of you people might be like, you know, a lot of you people. I said that really weird. A lot of you people.
You people.
Well, I think a lot of people are like, Whiplash is a little like overdone and stuff like that. It's a little too much, and I'm like, I love it. I don't care.
Yeah.
So but because I believe in liking what I like, I don't care.
That's right.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Well, so if you liked this, share below, like, subscribe, all that fun stuff. It really helps our channel. Comment what you thought about this. Comment if we should watch some other movies.
Just comment.
Just comment. Talk to us, please. Somebody.
Say something.
Somebody.
Anything.
It's okay. Just don't say that we're AI. A lot of people, there's been a few comments accusing us of being AI. It's really funny.
Lord have mercy. Don't you think AI would do something a little better?
I'd constantly be like
I would be all like smoldering, you know.
That's hilarious. Cool. All right.
Great.
Cool. Well, thank you guys for watching.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Dad.
Thank you, son.
Love you.
I love you too.
Bye guys.